Hello, I am Paula Bennett and welcome to my New Zealand Herald podcast, Ask Me Anything. The one thing I've learnt in life is it's never too late to learn something new. So on this podcast, I talk to people from all walks of life to hear about how they got to where they are, get some advice and guidance on some of life's biggest questions. Melodie Robinson is a trailblazer. And boy, has she got a good CV. She's won 2 World Cups with the Black Ferns. She's worked as a journalist, not only in sport, but also in Parliament. She's got an MBA. She was the first female in the world to commentate rugby, and also the first New Zealander to have a Barbie doll made of her, which I love. Mel is now the head of sports events and partnerships at TVNZ and also an executive board member at World Rugby. Hello, Mel.
Hello.
Welcome in.
Kia ora.
That is quite a CV.
I'm overly busy and overcommitted, and sometimes I don't do some jobs as well as I could because I'm juggling too much. So
Oh, well.
I've got to learn how to say no, and I'm starting to get there.
I say no more often than I say yes these days.
See? We're both learning.
Yeah, I love it too. I love it. I love it. Okay, we're going to ease you in a bit. Is there anything you're binge watching?
Oh, I binge watch absolutely everything.
Oh, do you?
Yep. I did the hostage recently. I binge watch Love Island Australia. I'm so sorry to admit that, but I just love how brash the Aussies are.
Yeah.
I just love it.
The Beast in Me has been mine
okay.
in the last week. Obsessed. I was obsessed with it.
Oh, Sundays I binge watch every single rugby game.
Do you?
And any other sports like Silver Ferns. I watch that on Sunday as well, and the cricket. So Sunday's my sport watching day. Do not ring me.
Okay. Okay, that's fair enough. Is this where I make a confession? And my chair of the board of Bailey's, John Bailey, reminded me of it the other day because he was talking about the All Blacks test coming up, and he said, "Paula, you're the only person in the world that rang me at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and when you went, oh, sorry to ring on a Sunday, JB, what are you up to?" And he goes, "In the middle of watching."
Rugby
All Black
test.
test.
Yeah.
Oh, is there rugby on today? So I'm the perfect person to be interviewing you right now.
Exactly.
Aren't I?
Yeah.
Because of my immense rugby knowledge.
I bet you know a bit more than you think you do.
Well, you have to if you live in New Zealand, don't you? Mm-hmm. There's not really much choice in the matter.
Correct.
Too much, so that's all right. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a bit about, get to know you a little bit better, and then let's go into what you're doing now and what you've done, and because it is honestly fascinating. So you've described yourself as a tomboy. Yeah, would you? Yeah?
It's probably not a...
who cares now?
No. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a lot of best male friends. I've played male sports or played with men. I still tackle blokes in my backyard after a few beers because I can't help myself. My language is probably not that feminine, if there's such a thing. I know, I just...
And was that innately in you, do you think? You just, as you say, you'd rather climb the tree than sit and play Barbie? I don't know, I'm making that up, obviously.
I think it was all down to my dad. Like, as soon as I started winning sport races and playing sports, my relationship with him just started to blossom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he would come to, all my sports events. He turned up to my first Otago game against Canterbury on a Harley Davidson. He had this very long rat's tail at the back of his head, looked very different from all of the other people watching rugby that day, that's for sure. But
and proud of you.
Yeah,
and
my biggest supporter. So I think it was him, and he would laugh at some of my mischievous, naughty antics as well.
Were you naughty? Were you?
A little bit, yes.
What kind of naughty?
I like to push the rules, so that was obviously reflected on the rugby field. I actually think that some of the best players in the world and coaches look at the rules and know how to manipulate them.
Yeah.
And so that's what I loved about rugby. Sometimes if people would say you can't do X, Y, Z, I'd be like, yes, I can. I think a lot of New Zealand women do that too.
Yeah. I love it when people tell me I can't.
Yeah, totally. At work, in my corporate environment at TVNZ, no, we're not going to have a TVNZ Sport Hub. It's too hard to build that. Boom. we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not just down
Hey,
to
so
me.
just speaking out though on your parents, because they had quite different backgrounds, didn't they? I mean, it was quite an interesting family to grow up in. Am I right? I was reading a bit about it. Tell the people listening and watching.
So Dad, he was Devil's Henchman gang member for a good part of my teenage years, a fireman as well. He was naughty in the way I'd hear stories like my auntie was staying home from school and he broke into my grandparents' house and might have stolen something. He found a reconditioned motor for my Morris Minor and popped that in there, found it.
Yeah.
Yes, he skirted the law, but he was charming, had a good job, was positive and amazing, and actually probably was in the gang for the family companionship thing. And same with the fire service, it was a family companionship.
Because aren't we so quick to put people, right in a box, and particularly when it comes down to gangs? And I always try to say to people, whether it's about gangs or about anything, none of us are 100% of something. You know what I mean? Like, we're not one-dimensional. So we're not all bad, or we're not all, like, there is equally a sense of loyalty, I imagine, or a different sort of sides. Yep. And you obviously saw that.
Oh, yeah, look, he's far from perfect, but gosh, he was awesome as well. He did turn into a Christian for about 3 years because my mother was very religious.
Okay.
So to get her over the line, he had to convert. It was full-on Christian Pentecostal, actually. So he...
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, he converted. He may have got her pregnant before, marriage, so they had to get married with that. And he lasted about 3 years in the church, and that was it. She stayed in the church. He didn't, so you can imagine there was an interesting dynamic at home. And Mum was the organ-playing, tithe-giving, very dedicated to God her whole entire life. So, yeah.
And did he get out of the gang, or did he stay?
He got out of the gang. He retired gracefully. He was one of the Mozzies, so Māori Aussies. He went and lived in Cairns. Ended up being a police officer, would you believe it?
There you go.
Yeah. In an Aboriginal reserve, which was fantastic because he did a great job there.
Would he say that if he was ever concerned that that you were and the other might have ended up in a gang yourselves? No,
because even though he was in a gang, we had a very loving, strong family.
Yeah.
So good schools, we were encouraged when we were good at stuff. Education was important, all working. He had 2 jobs. He was carpenter fireman for a long time. My mother was a very hard worker, so I think that the work ethic thing was the key driver with that strong family. They broke up when I was 16, so by that stage you're pretty stable and know who you are, I think.
So when did sports become such a big part of your life?
When I was 12 and fell in love with David Kirk.
Yeah.
1987.
Yeah.
Watching it on telly. And I've said this before, but Flo Jo at the Olympics, seeing a woman of colour so glamorous and so good. And probably over the years I've had many icons that I have admired. Bernice Meni, Temi Pata Clark or Bailey. She's changed her name a couple of times. She won't mind me taking a mickey out of that. All of those incredible female athletes I wanted to emulate. So that's one of the reasons probably I loved sports. Rugby being such a big part of my dad's life, I always wanted to play rugby. And when I took that sport up again, I was then his favourite child, which I used to, tease my brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. But I mean, women's rugby, obviously, I mean, we've just, we've seen that in the last few years and it's just absolutely fascinating. But it wasn't well respected and watched. Am I right or wrong in saying that? I mean...
no, it wasn't well supported. We had to fight for a lot of resource, strapping tape, water bottles, just even the basic stuff.
Wow.
Fields, referees. But at University of Otago, we started to get this following of blokes our age, and I'm still very, very good mates with a lot of them. They were naughty at university. And somehow they've all ended up in successful jobs, which is just great, if you ask me. But they started coming down on a Sunday and keg of beer on the side, and they would watch all the women's rugby.
Really?
Yeah, so we started to get this kind of
I love
organic
that.
growth, which actually women's sport audience has been an organic growth in various ways, and particularly technology and social media has been the key reason why women's sport has now got incredible audiences supporting non-traditional platforms. They had to find their space of how they were supporting the game in different ways. So for us, it was side of the field with the keg of beer. As it progressed through and social media came through, thousands and thousands of girls and women started forming their own sort of clubs and followings and fandoms online. And then because of that awesome audience, that's when the traditional broadcasters started to think, there's something happening here.
Good.
The market's been shaped by these people.
But then when you're, you're winning World Cups and you're everything else, but you're still, you're not getting paid much, are you? Are you getting...
It was $15 a day.
Crikey.
Back in, when did I first make the New Zealand team? 1996, $15 a day. Then I think in 1999, I broke my collarbone and we were up to about $60 a day then.
Wow.
And that was before we left, and I said, please don't take my $60 a day off me because I can't go on the tour. So I kept my $60 a day, thank goodness.
So you've all got jobs and working
Yeah.
and then trying to be professional and do everything else, and it's a lot. But then it's what you kind of did, isn't it?
Well, quite a few of the Black Ferns now, they have the option to work part-time, study, or be full-time professional athletes, which actually is the best place where you want to be, because for me, continually developing my education and my career at the same time, it was a hard balancing act, but I had really supportive bosses and work environments who let me go off to Women's World Cups or let me be at work at sort of 9:15 in the morning after going to the gym in the morning or going for a run at lunchtime. So I enjoyed that and wouldn't have had it any other way.
And actually a mutual friend of ours was just telling me this morning, and he was saying that you are you're part of a group that are helping retired athletes, is that right?
Yes.
That are coming out, and because that can, like, a lot talk about it being quite a lost time for them.
So the players, if we talk rugby, the Players Association does a lot of career development work for the current professional players.
They do now, eh? Yeah.
But once you finish, there actually isn't much support there. And actually that group we formed, which we called the Black Club, was specifically for former players who were really lost or had a very challenging situation happen to them and they were isolated. And we never really publicised it very much, but we would group around some of these athletes, support them, bring them into our networks and get them connected for jobs and opportunities. We've done it, again, not publicly because some of the people really needed some super help, and sometimes it hasn't been successful because you still have to want to help yourself. Yeah.
And it's personal, right? So you're not in it, personal for them, and equally for you, but you're not in it for the glory.
Yeah.
And actually, they probably don't want it broadcast that they need that level of help.
One of our lovely guys, it was Ali Williams actually, when he came back from France and the controversy over there on the Champs-Élysées. He had been shunned by many of his sponsors. Nobody was interested in talking to him at the time. So he came, we surrounded him. We're still tight. I connected him with Sky TV, and Sky actually started him into the commentary at the time. And then somehow he fell on his feet by marrying an absolutely gorgeous, smart and amazing woman. So he doesn't need our help anymore, but he helps other people, and we're still part of that group,
great.
So it's cool.
Tell me, how on earth did you end up in the Parliamentary Gallery?
Did
you have an interest in politics?
No, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I didn't even know how the system worked. But I loved it though. Gosh, I thought it was like a sports game. And it was, 1996 when the Type 5 were in there.
Oh, yeah. And Dirty Dog sunglasses, am I right?
Yeah. And they still had those big press gallery hosting parties. So, I was pretty young. I think I was 21 or something like that, and going to those parties and just seeing what all the shenanigans, my goodness.
And there were shenanigans back then, a lot more than there are now.
There was. But it was a great time because MMP had just started, so I wasn't the only one that was clueless around how Parliament worked at the time.
True.
I became great friends with a lot of the security guards and a lot of the staff who actually helped me a lot. Press gallery itself was incredibly welcoming. Duncan Garner was there at the time as well. So we leaned on each other a bit, and also the Māori and all the female MPs were incredibly supportive of some of the young females like myself in this gallery. They'd give us stories. They'd be open, to have meetings and interviews much more easily than, you would expect these days, where politicians get, swarmed as they're coming out of select committee or any of their meetings.
Yeah, when I went in 2005, I was early mid-30s and single and that sort of thing. And actually who I ended up being friends with, but carefully, because you didn't want to cross over that line of professionalism, but was woman journalists, because there were quite a few in their 30s that were single at the time. And so you actually had something more in common with them than you did with a lot of your colleagues, and, intelligent, well-read, insightful, all of those good things.
Yeah, absolutely. Trevor Mallard, actually, I got on really well with him because his daughter played rugby, so we had a connection.
Oh, he's a good guy.
He is a good guy, and I liked it how he was, not a normal MP either.
No.
Or Speaker of the House.
No.
Actually, I stayed in the Speaker of the House accommodations one night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like he opened that up and hosted people, so you got to stay in old Parliament buildings. What an experience.
Yeah, that's cool.
Gosh.
Yeah. They haven't done it up or anything, though.
No, so...
Because you can't spend money on it, but it's cool.
Yeah.
So we'll just talk briefly about that because, in the second half, I want to really sort of get into career and career advice and resilience, and goodness knows what's happening in media at the moment. So I'm looking forward to your insights in that. But you had that real drive to get into sports journalism. So where did that come from?
I thought that... girls and boys had equal opportunity and that there was equity in New Zealand. And I think when I was about 21 or 22 and started doing sociology of sport, actually, and really educating myself and doing some research, I realised that wasn't the case, and it still isn't the case.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably, I felt a bit upset and angry at the time, and that this is how I react to everything. A little bit of emotion for about 24 hours, and then I go, right, what can I do to change it?
Wow, okay.
So that was when I decided sports journalism, because there was only Margot Butcher, I think, and Jane at TV1 were the only female sports journalists at the time. So I thought there's a gap in the market, plus I play rugby. So a female journalist who knows rugby and plays it, that's got to give me a unique advantage. So
so what'd you do?
Well, really targeted. Everything, I think, if you want to be successful, this is my first little thing, is you've got to be very intentional, very targeted about your steps of how you're going to get there. And you've got to constantly work on your capability or skills that you need to get there and be gritty about it. So journalism started by doing free work for the newspaper down there at Tago Uni. I applied for 3 journalism schools, didn't get into 2, but got into the Wellington one. I did so many part-time jobs, RNZ at 3 a.m. shift, working for the Dominion part-time, thanks to Russell Gray.
And this is all building up talent, your skills, you're honing in, as you say, intentional. I'll take any opportunity because that will improve me. And then when the right opportunity is there.
Working lots of different jobs while I was doing that journalism postgrad certificate. And then when my first job was the Salient, but when I saw the Mana News job come up, that's what I went for, because I knew radio was the next step. Then I went digital for Extra MSN. So it's been really intentional about what kind of roles would take me towards Sky Sport and been a presenter, producer, journalist, commentator for them. I finally got that opportunity through Rick Salizzo, actually introduced me to the executive producer, Brendan Butt. And even though, usually ex-All Blacks will get in just because they're ex-All Blacks, I was a Black Fern who'd won 2 Women's World Cups, but that wasn't going to get me in. It was definitely the journalism and all of that capability that I had worked many hours, breakfast on my FM while I had a full-time job at Extra MSN, coaching rugby at the same time. I'd quit most of that because I got a bit grumpy, but finally got the job with Sky because of all that extra work and commitment.
Yeah. So you knew your goal and then knew that, it was up to you to actually achieve it, if you like, and you weren't going to sit back and hope. You were going to go out there and
I was a woman. There were no women who were doing that commentary role. So, yes, the World Cups would help, but that wasn't going to be what was going to get me over the line because I was a woman. So the journalism plus being able to write and produce, they were the extras that got my foot in the door. So
becoming that first, because you're a trailblazer. I mean, you are the first, woman commentator, right? I mean, so how did that feel? I mean, and what was it like? And the people you're working with, and did you still have to keep proving yourself?
I don't think you think about any of that when you're in the moment. I didn't. I just had to I probably kept my head down when it came to some of the work and really worked hard on research and the background and analysis.
Yeah.
So I got at this process that I put in place with how I'd prepare for games in the weekend. So
you weren't winging it?
Oh, hell no. Gosh, I was, over-prepared. I wish I had a photographic memory like other people, but no, I don't. I over-prepare everything. My problem has always been, back to the tomboy thing, has been authentically myself, and at that time probably not dialing back some of that personality when I was meant to. And so that was probably the thing that got me in more attention or into trouble than actually being a female.
What, they wanted you to be a bit less you, a bit not as bolshy? Did I use that word?
Not bolshy. I'm not bolshy. I'm just big, loud, big personality, probably quite intimidating to people who are not extroverts, which I've discovered in my old age. And so I think journalism is quite a snobby professionalism because it's a craft and an art form. And you have to have been doing it for a long time and doing the credible journalism to be accepted in the thing. And commentary is exactly the same. So because I was a bit different, my credibility was questioned.
Yeah.
Despite the fact I had the journalism background, the playing background, and I was doing a good job on air. So that was probably the biggest challenge I
Underestimated?
I think because I'm often happy, optimistic and entertaining and joke around, that people definitely underestimate.
I had that all the time.
I bet you did. And then you come in for the kill.
Big, loud, bright colours, do you know what I mean? Life of the party kind of stuff and all the rest of it.
Yep.
Bill English always used to tell me that I used it as my secret superpower.
Yeah.
Because he would say, well, they're all underestimating you. You're working harder in the background.
Yeah.
And then cutting through.
Yes, it's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing. It is a thing. Now I just don't care, of course.
Well, I still have to care because I'm still in highly male environments.
Yeah.
Particularly at World Rugby. And I wonder if when you get older you get judged even more if you act in the same way as you would as a 30-year-old woman. I mean, I think that does happen. Especially my 16-year-old son. Ooh, yuck, mum. You're not a normal mum. Ugh, why are you acting like that?
Yeah.
You're old. I'm like, I'm never really going to... Who feels old?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's a skirt length when you're over a certain age.
Oh, no. Have you seen my legs? I can still rock those.
Okay. I like that. Okay, Mel, we're going to take a quick break because I think I want to come back and talk a bit more about that sort of male-dominated environment and give people some advice on, if they're stepping up and how to get that level of courage. So let's dive more into that career very shortly. We will be back soon. Welcome back. As you all know, I am here with Melodie Robinson. We now need to get into some key advice. I feel like you're the type of woman that quite like to give advice.
Sometimes, yes.
I like that. Okay, let's talk about breaking into Sky and that world of sports media. And then even let's get a bit more into what you're doing now. You're still in that sort of male-dominated environment. Is that right?
Well, yes and no. So at Sky, absolutely, there were not very many women doing what I was doing maybe 10 years ago. But a group of us got together to support other women in sport media and mentor. And actually, a lot of the female commentators and female faces that you see today are part of that initial wider group that we were networking with, connecting to media companies and mentoring. So I think that New Zealand sport media companies have done a really good job.
Good.
And so that makes me feel like we've had some success in that area.
Yep. You've broken it through a bit for
I
them, and
think
the path's
so.
a little bit easier to walk behind you.
Yeah. Oh,
Nice.
Open the door, leave it wide open
Yeah.
for other people. I don't think the audiences are particularly friendly and nice about many of the female sport commentators yet. There's still a lot of evidence that there's negative comments.
So is that on Voice? Is that on...
It's on everything.
Oh, and what was I reading about what they were wearing the other week?
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. That's...
A female sports... I barely read it because it just makes me angry.
Look.
So I'm just like, you don't even deserve my eyes.
Yeah. I have a classic example of an amazing journalist, Ashley Stanley, who was writing at the time for The Spin-Off, and she wrote this incredible article, and one of my male producers just, poo-poo this, what does she know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, Ashley, she's got a PhD in the area she's talking to. Do you have a PhD in that area? That shut him up pretty fast. But that's the initial first reaction.
But it's incredible, right? You and I were at, we won't mention what the function was, but we were at a fundraising luncheon, about 4 or 5 months ago probably. And I got asked to do the auction and relatively last minute, and so I stepped in to help out. And you were there, and that crowd, they were, predominantly male, they were older, they had all been drinking, and they just talked over me when I was trying to raise money for their charities, not like, giving up my Friday to do it and that sort of thing. And so, they just made my job so much harder, and I had to shout to be heard, and it was just, honestly, and I had this guy come up to me afterwards, I'm not kidding you, Mel, he said to me, the problem was with that was your voice is too high-pitched.
Yeah, see, so it's still there, and it sucks.
And I probably was, because by this stage I was brassed off with them, and so I was screeching at them. But I was just like, stuff you.
Yeah, I don't know. And, the more men have daughters, the more that's going to change the other way as they support their awesome kids through empowering them, whatever they do. So still optimistic it will change, but it's definitely still there.
It surprised me, so that's good.
Yeah.
Because actually 20 years ago that wouldn't have surprised me, and it would have been happening regularly. It was the first time in a long time, and it surprised me. So that's we'll take that as progress.
I think one of the key things with changing that too for women in careers or sport or wherever is to make sure that you have male champions and that you don't go and form off your women's movement on the side. You always have to have male champions. So I guess my best example recently, I I have two, is through the changes that TVNZ has gone through over the last 2.5 years. And it's been really tough, it's been really brutal, and it's been required because the cost had to go down. As you know, media industry has been disrupted mainly by the big tech companies. It's just a tough environment. My role was disestablished. I definitely had, that 24-hour emotional period, and then another 24 hours on the couch binge watching some horrible romance. And then on the Sunday, I'd booked in to talk to my business mentor.
Yeah.
And I hope he's okay with me saying it, but it's Steve Yurkovich from Kiwibank. He's a great mate of Bart Campbell, who's an incredibly successful Kiwi man who's also on the Executive World Rugby Board with me. And the thing with him is he's a CEO, so by the time I get to him on the Sunday, I've got to have a plan of how I bounce back and what the solution is and what's next. So that's how I do it with him.
Yeah.
Say, right.
Because you're taking up his time, right?
100%.
So you've got to give the due respect for that, which means you've got to have done the work.
Yep. So we've had about 4 sessions over that whole period. And one thing I said to him, one of the solutions was I've decided to share my IP. I'm not happy with where I am at the moment, but I'm going to share my IP with my new manager because that's the right thing to do. He goes, well, my reaction to that is good on you. When it happened to me, I said, nah, I'm out of here. I didn't stay. If I had stayed, I could have been CEO of that company.
Okay.
You're doing the right thing by being the better person and seeing if you can still advance in that company and putting aside your emotions. So there's those kinds of things that you can get from business mentors, and particularly because business is dominated in the big NZX companies or the executive teams, CEO roles, all by men.
Yeah.
So you need to have male champions. And the other one for me is Melodie Robinson from Australia. He's now the chair of World Rugby. We had become firm friends talking flanker shit, which, by the way, open side flanker for Australia, and I was open side and blind side for New Zealand. We talk a different language.
Okay.
So there was a taxi ride from London airport through to our hotel where we just taught absolute rugby smack. And I developed this relationship with him through rugby. And over that time, he got to know me, some of my commercial capability and other stuff about me. And he has given me opportunity and believes in me. So he's given me the role at the moment of chair of high performance women's committee for World Rugby, where I have to push myself and be really, really controlled and organised. And that's also motivated me to do an international governance course, which I'm 4 papers through now.
Wow, okay.
Which is reflecting really well on learnings for back to the work that I'm doing at TVNZ. So mentors like that you're really learning from and you have to behave in a certain way are essential in terms of bouncing back, resilience, career advancement, and even just having fun with them.
Yeah. But you touched on it, but that resilience that's needed within media right now, and we're still going to see more changes, aren't we? I mean, you can just kind of see it in the returns and that sort of thing. So, how does that affect your day-to-day work? When you described it as brutal, and we all know people that have been discarded or, and at various levels and that sort of thing, and perhaps not communicated with in the respectful way that we probably should. Do you see more of it coming? How do you build that resilience? How do you keep kind of going and giving it your all?
In the media industry, I think everybody just has to be of the mindset that we're in constant change now. There will be transformation, restructures, change for quite some time. So we've all got to get used to having a little bit of ambiguity around our jobs, our careers, and you should be making plans, alternative plans. One of my things has always been, what's your passion outside of work? Might just be work, but you've got to have another passion.
Yeah.
My other passion was rugby. which has led me to being on the board of Executive World Rugby, which has now given me other career opportunities outside of my media. So having a passion that you're putting voluntary time in with new networks outside of your current job is important. And then resilience, it's such a hard thing because it might be, it's a muscle that you've got to keep exercising. Because it's like a grief process when you lose a job or you get demoted or there's change. So you've got to work out your process of dealing with grief. Mine was binge drinking that night. But now I've turned it to having a great dinner with a couple of wines and using some of my incredibly close network to talk things through for about 24 hours. The mentor at the end of it, having the plan post it. So I missed out on an opportunity recently. Actually, I've missed out on lots of things. I've failed at lots of things. But I got some great advice from a person who said to me, your CV is really good, but it's different. You haven't being mindful about going up the hierarchical organisation and getting the titles that other people have.
I see.
You're really good at doing all of this, but you need to get yourself a title to get the next job in your future.
Is that why you're head of sports events and partnerships at TVNZ? It's quite a title.
It is, but it's quite a, there's strategy to it, and I'm across lots of different business units, but I'm doing a lot. In actual fact, the ones that count for when you want a big job, I don't know, like CEO of New Zealand Rugby or whatever it might be, is you need to have CEO next to your, men are good at doing this stuff. I don't think women are quite as good at intentionally crafting CVs.
You probably can't do it at TVNZ, but what I do at Bailey's is pretty much every second day I change my job title to how I'm feeling on the day.
Love it, love it, love it.
So, someone will say, oh, yeah, I didn't know you worked here. What do you do? And I just literally, it's whatever pops into my head at that moment.
Yeah.
I run the whole company.
Yeah.
I can say, I'm in kitchen work this week. But TVNZ might not have the same sense of humour as my managing.
Oh, I think our CEO might. She's great.
Yeah, she is.
And there are some good opportunities at TVNZ, I think, because we are going through quite some change. So, and I love TVNZ, so I'll have a crack.
Okay.
I'll have a crack there.
Tell me about your current role then. What do you actually do?
Oh, it's I do the acquisition strategy, hold the pen on that, and look at the pipeline of sports that are coming to market.
Yeah.
And I work very closely with the GM of commercial and the programmers as to what we're going to target. I also do quite a bit of the data analysis on what Kiwis love to watch and what will work for TVNZ in particular. And then when a contract is signed, the deal's done by somebody else, I contribute to that, but I take over the sport or the event, hire the teams, run it, innovate it if we have to, and sometimes I come up with new concepts as well. Like we've got this awesome Track Stars coming up in March, which is National Athletics Champs with celebrities in the middle of it. So you can imagine if you...
That sounds interesting.
Wow. 100 metres, Zoe Hobbs runs it first, and then you've got the Paralympian 100-metre runners, and then a group of celebrities who are going to have to run 100 metres at the national champs. How cool is that?
That is really cool. Really cool. I can see it.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing I do at work, and I love it. I love it.
Do you think free-to-air sport, is it kind of, it's hard? Because it's expensive, isn't it?
Oh, it's so expensive. It's very challenging. I guess the light at the end of the tunnel is the fact that we are experimenting with pay with FIFA World Cup. So we will have to see how that goes to see where we end up with our pay content strategy as well. But it's a different revenue stream to help us compete. Because, it's sport, it's really expensive, and we've had to think outside the box.
Well, you probably know consumers better than I do, but as a consumer, I would just say to you, I think we're used to now having to pay.
Mm.
You know, we do it with all of the streaming.
Yeah.
We do it with all of that all of the time. You know, I'll sit there and if there's a movie that I particularly want to watch and I have to pay for it, I think, well, if I went to the movies, it's going to cost me $50 by the time I buy a ticket and
Well, TVNZ legislation, you would have known because you're in Parliament, we still have to serve New Zealanders first and foremost to make sure our Aotearoa is reflected in our free-to-air service. So that's the first thing we'll do. So we'll always make sure Kiwis are taken care of first. But just you wait till you find out what our FIFA offering is, the price, and what you get free-to-air. I think you might be delighted.
Okay, I'm ready to be delighted. I like to be delighted. You've touched on it, so let's just talk a little bit about that, your executive board of World Rugby. So what does that entail? I don't get it.
Oh, World Rugby, we serve the members of different national unions. They are our members, right? So I think there's about 188 unions that play rugby in the world, but there's the big 10 powerful ones, sans our Six Nations. So they're our voting members. There's a council. The executive board directors, we basically run the game, the World Cups, make sure there's enough money to sustain the international game. We regulate the laws. We make sure there are referees there at all of those international matches. We've got a commercial board I'm on as well. They particularly are about making cash around those World Cups, innovating them, fan engagement, stories, content. It's really exciting, and I guess I love it because they did a governance review maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and now we've got some extremely capable Americans, a South American, Bart Campbell, a finance expert from Formula One, and we sit around this board, and every time I sit there, I learn something from one of them. So it's just...
And that's important, right? Keep learning, keep listening. I mean, I sort of say it at the beginning of the podcast, but, you know, it is so true. I'm learning every day.
Absolutely.
And I love it.
So do I. I do. I'd be bored if I wasn't learning.
Yeah. And I think, I hadn't thought of it from that angle.
Yep, absolutely.
Or, it was quite interesting on my board, you know, and we were talking about a certain member and we just went, someone said he is able to give criticism with kindness.
Yes.
And I went, that's exactly it.
I call it direct with compassion.
Yeah.
Same thing, because actually that was one of the conversations we had recently around our board was so many different cultures, so many different ways of communicating. English are very polite. New Zealanders won't say it directly. They say it over there behind everybody's back. Māori are very direct. Aussies are direct. So how do you communicate in a way direct with compassion? Or to get things done.
I think I'm direct. I'm not sure. When someone said that about him, and I thought, I'm not sure I always get the compassion or the kindness quite right. Yeah, because I'm easily irritated.
Yeah, I am too, but that's my menopause, so I can get away with it.
I'll work on it. Okay.
I do have something to bring up.
Please do.
Because if anybody who loves rugby just heard me talk about the rules, laws of the game, they'll know that we do have a challenge. We
do.
Rugby World Cup 2027 is in Australia, where NRL is incredible as a product. AFL dominates. Cricket is the next big sport. For rugby to be really appealing in that country, we really do need to look at the shape of the game, the flow of the game, and balance the interpretation of the rules of foul play and also our welfare with making sure that the product is still really entertaining.
Yeah, because you said part of your role is to make sure that it's the whole experience and everything else. And, you know, we've ascertained that I'm not the biggest rugby fan, but part of that is I'm just like, oh, God, have they stopped again?
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, really? You know, and then you're just like, well, actually, it's not that much fun.
The great games are amazing, but we do have a lot of games that are stop-start. TMO, big screen not working in the Chicago game, All Blacks Island. I mean, you know, these are definitely on the top of the list for World Rugby to be talking about in February in the show.
Would you like to give any advice to the coaching with the All Blacks at the moment?
Oh, my God, poor Scott. Oh,
Coaching is
it's aging. It's aging. I tell you
aging
what.
and relentless, and
Not as bad as Mark Mitchell. He definitely looks like he's aging with the stress of his job.
Poor Mark.
Same thing. Mark, Scott Robertson, same pressures.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Finally, for this segment, I would love to know what was the best advice that you've been given, and by whom.
Oh gosh. Best advice to me it's been given by a number of my bosses and my best friends, which is you've got some superpowers, you know what they are, but you're also not so great at XYZ. So fill your team up with people who are really good at some of those other things and don't worry about empowering them to do it. And that is a philosophy that I definitely use at TVNZ, because why on earth would I want to create from scratch a budget when I'm going to stuff every cell up anyway? Just get somebody else to do it.
Oh, it's such good advice. And it's so true.
Yep.
And it takes you a little while to get there, particularly if you're driven like you are and you're smart. And I used to think, I have to be good at everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's watching me and they want me to fail. So I can't admit that I'm not. And then once you get that advice and you get over it, it's just,
You do. Is this my chance to ask you?
yes, it is called Ask Me Anything, and now you may ask me something.
Okay, so please give me your advice. When do you think I should dial back the authenticity, the big personality? I have a penchant to throw out humour and jokes in every situation. When should I dial it back? Because like you, it is one of my charms.
Yeah, and I've had times when I've walked out of a meeting and went, oh, did I really need to overshare or crack a joke at that particular time?
Yes.
Did I really need to, so I still have those occasional moments.
Yes.
And I just think, for me, it's probably what you were saying at the beginning, it's kind of intentional. So it's if I care, if it's something that I really want to get out of it, then how do I want to be perceived? What am I going to do? I had a big day yesterday, mainly with Pharmac stuff. It's hard. It's complicated. So I thought quite a bit about what I wore, and I actually thought about how I sat to give myself that level of professionalism. And like you were sort of talking about literally while I was walking to the meetings, I literally mantraed in my head, you are strong, you are smart, you're on it today.
Great.
Because I was feeling a bit low, and so I was like, okay, no room for that today. So what are you going to do about it? And I honestly walked in, and for every step I said it.
Love it. I'm going to be more intentional when I go into some of these, because when I rush things and I'm not intentional, that's when I get myself into trouble. And please, can you make sure that the HRT patches are the good ones? Thank you very much.
Have you heard the latest problem with them?
No.
Oh, God. Now I have to say, don't I? Because, these it's public, so I'm not obviously giving away any secrets, but the ones that everybody loved and everybody wanted, obviously the manufacturers have slightly changed the glue.
Oh, right.
So now, not us, but I think it's MedSafe, have had 150 complaints. So now we're having to go back it's actually MedSafe that go back and look and make sure that it's still true to the product that it's supposed to be. So look, you're still getting your good hormone boost, don't you worry.
Right.
But we are constantly looking at it.
Is it not sticking?
Don't mess with angry middle-aged bloody hormonal woman.
No.
If there's any group that you should ever not mess with, that is one. All right, good. Yours are working. Look, you're laughing. You're okay.
Yeah, most of the time I'm good.
Melodie, thank you so much for coming in today. Good luck.
Thank you. No, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed it. I always like seeing you out anyway.
Oh, yeah, we do have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always have fun. Okay, well, that's it for another episode of Ask Me Anything. If you have enjoyed this episode, please follow Ask Me Anything on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you check out some of my past fabulous guests. You just heard us talking about Ali Williams. He was on last week or the week before, so go and do that. I'll be back next week. I'm Paula Bennett. Ask Me Anything. Goodbye.